We're not forgetting tonight. We're not forgetting, everybody, to unmute myself when we start the stream. Last few nights, maybe we forgot about that, but tonight's not that kind of night. All right. Welcome. We have officially begun the post-mortem of what I would consider to be one of Atlanta United's most decisive losses of all time. So, welcome in, everyone. Come on in. Let's get very commiseratory. That's not the word. It's the word I'm looking for.
Let's get cozy.
Commiserating. Let's get very. I don't. No one's gonna say let's get commiserating, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We're gonna be here. It's kind of like a bonfire, watching something burn down together. We're gonna kind of grow from that. Really, that's where I'm at currently. So right now, I'm joined by partners and friends in pain, is what I'll be saying tonight. We have Tim Herb from, you may know him, you may love him, the Home Before Dark podcast. And as always, if you want him or not, he's here. It's AJ from his very own show, Atlanta United Fan TV.
Disrespect on my own show, man. Damn.
Listen, but, I didn't give me this power. You did.
This is true. Yeah.
But I did give you the drink in your hand, so you have that.
This is also true. So yeah, we also we ain't growing from shit. I think clearly we're not, and yeah, the only smoke that has happened tonight in terms of anything good is from this whiskey that Hugh gave me, because it is a good Scotch whiskey that is quite smoky. But yeah, 4-0 loss to Lionel Messi and Inter Miami, and it's a night that is memorable for Miami fans or for a lot of fans, but for us, yeah, wow, really bad night in terms of defense, really bad night in terms of attack. Just one to forget, but
you could say all around bad. You could say just all around bad. The whole kit and caboodle was just throw it in the trash.
Yeah, but Tim, you had some superlatives before the show. Please let us know what they were.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna play. I guess it would be like what, face, heel. I don't even know what it would be in this situation. But I'm face. It's not. At least it's not 5-1 to Chicago, right? It's
not 5-1 to Chicago.
I'm just kidding. No, that sucked. That's terrible. It's kind of demoralizing, and it's yeah, I really don't know how to feel about it. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes down, or a lot of if we don't make it out of the group stages, I don't know how Gonzalo Pineda keeps his job. Realistically speaking.
Real likelihood at this point.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, like what we're playing I know they picked up Messi, they picked up Busquets. There's a big morale boost on that team. You know, rising tides lifts all boats type of thing. Like he's making everybody, Busquets and Messi are making everybody better on that team. You saw Robert Taylor as the new Lewis Morgan.
I can't.
You know what?
I literally can't. I literally had Lewis Morgan flashbacks and PTSD.
Why can't we keep a left wing from Miami from scoring on us? Like, what do we got to do to make that stop? Yeah, I really don't know what happens, but I mean, Miami's worst in MLS. Cruz Azul is worst in Liga MX, right? And then
correct.
If we don't make it out of the group stages here, it's I know it's a new tournament and mid-season, and it's weird, but we looked atrocious tonight.
Hey, you can forgive losing against. I mean, listen, I wasn't gonna be like, okay, we lost against literally the best player in the world. I'm not gonna be like that, busted over about that. But if we lose to Cruz Azul as well, also the definitely just like a bad team too, that's gonna sting. Honestly, probably much worse, because I think Messi and his crew could probably do a decent wrecking job of a fair amount of teams in MLS. Not the top ones. I don't think they're there yet. I don't think they can do that. I think the top teams will just kind of know how to dismantle them and to figure out Messi and do that, because it's just two players. It's just two players. How is it that hard? How is it that hard to stop two players? Apparently it's impossible for us. But I feel like the competent teams in MLS will be able to do that, or the competent teams in Liga MX too. So Cruz Azul, I think we can, we hopefully can get. If we can't, that's the alarm bells for me. Cruz Azul. Miami, you get beat by Messi. I mean, it's like you're the best player in the world. Like, what are you gonna do at the end of the day?
You watch the way that defense played, and those two midfielders, like, or lack thereof. I don't know, man. Like, that first goal, it's one thing to try. It's one thing to try and play that high line on defense, but if you're just gonna like get caught, I don't even know what Juanjo was doing. Like, I don't even know who he was paying attention to on that first.
Listen, he was looking at Messi's after image. That's what he was looking at. He got completely like. Boom, going that way. Just kidding, LOL. Ghost shot that way, and he was like, I'm following that ghost.
He got absolutely torched. I know he's not the best defender in the world, but, like, I don't know. I don't know, man. The tactics tonight seemed. I'm not super tactics savvy. If anybody's ever listened to our show, I'm
no, me and you
really
both, brother.
Anything, but, like,
that's why we have AJ here to pick up the slack.
That definitely did not seem the way. It seemed like the way to try and stop Messi here. And in that case, Robert Taylor too, because he was a menace all night, getting up and down that wing.
Dude, how is this guy as good as he is? Like, it's fun when like you see other teams really nail it on like non-DP signings, and they just provide. And your DP signings and like high TAM signings are like, what is soccer again? I'm confused. I thought I was here to get a lot of money.
Yeah,
I mean it's no, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I'm super jealous of Miami. They've hit on every single level. You have homegrowns in the starting lineup at ages 18, 19. You have recovery project. I hate to call him that because I love him and he's one of my favorite players ever. And Joseph Martinez, it was a reclamation project, right?
Yeah,
to bring him
100%.
in there. You have retirement league type guys like Sergio Busquets, who, let's face it, once he actually starts seeing some pressure and from a midfield, I think he's going to crack a little bit from what we saw tonight. But and you guys have guys like DeAndre Edlin. Kamal Miller's another one. Like, Kamal Miller's great tonight. Like, where are those guys for us to sign? Like, where is the Jeff Lorenowitz and Michael Parkhurst of 2023? Or in this case, like Kamal Miller. I don't know. Go ahead, AJ. Sorry.
No, all good, man. I mean, you made some great points. Exactly. It's we as a team, our DPs didn't show up. I mean, Almada misses the penalty. He's way better at free kicks than he is at penalties. Right now,
he's a terrible penalty conversion ratio at this point. It's embarrassing.
Right. At this point, Yakumakis should definitely be taking the penalties until he proves otherwise as well. But yeah, no, it's wild. And yeah, obviously our TAM players and beyond those players are not doing much of anything as well. And yes, our midfield, like you mentioned, just horrendous. I mean, Sosa, Josetu is that's a travesty of a midfield. I mean, it is. I mean, Sosa has got a lot of promise, obviously, but Josetu, okay, yeah, a lot of people had him starting this match, but I don't see why. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like,
yeah.
He ain't tracking shit. He literally jogged back for the first goal, like, or the second goal rather, but he wasn't even in the picture, even though he was in the midfield when he was bypassed the first time.
I think calling that jogging is even charitable because, like, he just straight up stopped. Like, Messi, he's just like, all right.
It's not even the walking football league, where players are even, like, they're retired and they're just like, kind of walking and, playing football and on a little turf pitch or something like that, like 5v5. It's he was slower than that. Agreed. It's absolutely shambles. And yeah, I mean, the first goal. Why were we playing an offside trap? Why are you doing that against Messi? Like, you probably have to either park the bus or press them, and we neither did.
Yeah.
Either.
Yep.
Yeah, it was terrible. Like, I don't understand, to your point about Josetu, like, both of those players playing together, we've seen Sosa, at least post hernia surgery or whatever mystery illness that was going on, has been unbelievably inconsistent. Showed a ton of promise before that. Was great. Like thought he was going to be kind of the future in that midfield. I think jury's still out if he can recover that. But like to put him and Hasetu together again, like Ibarra's missing from this equation. Like Ibarra like adds that tenacity and adds that physicality into that midfield, and makes me wonder. In looking at the full 90 and us being absolutely throttled, why we didn't even see, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes of Tristan Mumba. Like, it doesn't make any sense to see what he can do. I have no idea.
Did someone put an APB out for this man?
Yeah, he made the bench, but yeah, no. He obviously maybe was determined not to be enough match fit, but I was clamoring on the match preview that Alonso probably should have started. I mean, yes. Whether he was match fit or not, he would not have been starstruck as much as the rest of the team was.
Santiago Sosa literally has a poster of him in his room when he was a kid, or Messi, and he's just like, listen, this guy, if he's going to dribble past me, he's going to dribble past me. And that's what's going to happen tonight. And you know what? It happened tonight. So, like, I don't know what to tell you guys. These guys, they saw this team coming at them and went, Okay. So our next guest on tonight is going to be Tyler. He did an interview, or not an interview, but he talked to some of the guys at the training camp earlier this week. And he got an idea from them, talking from them and like kind of just absorbing their energy, that they were very nervous to play Messi in Miami this weekend. Today. And I'm like, damn, like they really were believing the hype. They really were like, this is like, going up against Jordan when you've just been playing in your backyard the whole time. Like that's what it kind of felt like when Tyler was describing it to me. That's not good. You can't be having that. You can't be having that starstruck, just apprehensiveness going into a game against, like, yeah, he's a world beater, of course, but like, you gotta. So, real quick, I just want to say, when we were talking to Peter, I postulated this idea of like the counter Messi effect, and I was really hoping it was a real thing. I'm starting to think it's not. But like when someone goes, "Oh, I'm playing against Messi," I'm gonna play above my skill level. I'm gonna go above and beyond. I'm gonna go crazy because I want to really impress him, and like all the eyes, like Peter said, all the eyes of the world are watching when other people play against Messi. So, like, if someone does really well against them, the world watches that. So, like, it's an advertising, revenue for them, or avenue for them. So it's like, why not just, go amazing against like a player like Messi? And unfortunately, that didn't happen at all. Honestly, it was the opposite. It was, quote unquote, the Messi effect. People just they sat back and were like, I'm going to give this guy space because he's going to beat me if I try and make a move. And then all of a sudden, all that respect translates into incredible opportunities from the other team. Where it's just like, oh, Busquets hits a fucking 40-yard pass. And no one is even close to trying to mark Messi because Peralta saw ghosts. And it's just like, oh my goodness. Like,
yeah, so Tim, did you feel like...
Just get a yellow card this game. Get a yellow card against these players. For the love of God. Throw some punches. Like, if you're just getting that dragged, like, put some effort in, put some spirit. Be like, yeah, we're here. Listen to us. Respect us. Yeah, you're better. Yeah, you're going to do some stuff. But we're going to make you feel it. We're going to make you pay for every inch. But no. It was just like, oh shit, he's coming. Oh, I don't know. It's just, I hated it. Hated every second of that, seeing that.
So, yeah, Tim, did you feel like Atlanta United, they down tools this match, or was it just Messi was just too much?
Oh man, it's tough to say. I feel like everybody on that Miami squad was kind of on their A game tonight. And I think again, like I think he just honestly, if you have the security of a guy like Busquets in the middle, who's going to be able to control things, potentially be able to be calm and kind of spray the ball out a little bit. I think that along with Messi being able to, I mean, you saw him in every single position. I think it was a combination of both. Not to give a politician's answer, but we played like shit, to be honest.
We did.
Like, I feel like the the tactics for sure weren't there, but I mean, aside from a few bright moments, I felt like dribbling the ball. Thiago Almada didn't have his best match. Tyler Wolff was kind of bright in the first like 2, 3, 5 minutes, something like that. And then, yeah, I felt like I saw nothing else from anybody. I felt like it was just, I think, God, AJ, it's a tough question because I feel like every week, I mean, we have, you know, that 2-game win streak. I'm trying to remember who we even beat besides Philly in that NYCFC.
Montreal.
It was NYC. Or Montreal and Philly back to back. And we're like, okay, maybe this team's back, and then we lose. And I just, I can't pinpoint this team. I think it's probably more us.
I agree.
But I don't want to take credit away from them, man. Like, I felt like they played a really good game in front of a hyped crowd. And
I mean, Messi's gonna Messi, Busquets, right? And you know they did what they did. And honestly, I was saying this while we were watching. Miami didn't do anything like terribly special. I was like kind of relating it to like how, you know, young kids play soccer. It's the best player sits in a cherry picking position, hangs out at the top, and you just long bomb him the ball every time you get it, and then boom, he just does wonder shit, and then boom, goals, bop 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 bop. And like that's kind of what we saw tonight, a little bit, at least for the at least 2 goals. And it's like, just don't let him do that. But it's like our defense was the ones liable and the ones exposed for letting that kind of thing happen. Purata, namely speaking, when it came to that. I mean, and then, you know, we can get onto the Taylor's goals, which were actually very well taken. Give credit where credit's due. Taylor's goals were actually very good.
Those were super clinical. Oh, yeah. Every goal except for the first one was super clinical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, obviously.
I mean, like Taylor, Taylor's goal with that hard angle, that was like a Joseph Martinez angle. I was expecting Joseph to hit that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think when you look at, I think it's going to be a problem, especially when they add Suarez to this lineup, because it's inevitably going to happen, right?
Somehow. By hook or crook, it's going to happen.
Yeah, by probably the latter, right? Like Joseph and Messi, Joseph probably to a lesser degree, but to Messi's benefit, they're both still gravity wells, right? Like you saw that.
Thank
Taylor
you. Yes,
so
100 billion% gravity. I was literally saying the word black hole multiple times this game.
Yeah, he draws, and especially with a three-man defense, if you're drawing guys centrally like that, and you're just going to open up the wings for a guy like Robert Taylor, who I'd never heard of before this match, if I'm going to be honest.
I literally said the same thing. I said the same thing. I am fearful of him. Are we the same person? I feel like we're mind-melding a bit.
But, I mean, everybody had space. You saw Busquets didn't have, you know, shit for pressure on him the majority of the game. And, yeah, I felt like we played a poor match. When I look at the guys we subbed in, it just didn't make sense to me either.
That was abdicating. That was conceding the game at that point. Tim, can we get your 3 stars of the game, if there are any? If it taxes you so much to give you our 3 stars of the game, and your closing thoughts.
Maybe just closing thoughts. You can give us 1. Michael, if we do 3, that's so hard.
Hey, that's part of the game, man.
Poor Brad Guzan, but stopping that 5th goal from getting in with a pretty nice save. I don't know who to give this to. That's not those 3 stars. I'm
gonna ask this of everyone tonight, so everyone get ready.
Let's say Brooks Lennon was wasteful in offense. Felt like he did okay coming back.
He hit the crossbar, I guess, right?
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Maybe he's number 1 star. I've completely forgot. That feels so long ago. It's like a Sunday League accidental cross that
really
finds its way to finds its way into the side net. Yeah, I don't even know, man. Giacomakis, I don't know.
I would maybe say Gutman for leaving the team early, getting out of there when he could.
Yeah, I thought about him often.
He spared himself. Yeah, really. I mean, he didn't have to deal with Messi, at least. So, yeah. Man.
He's like, I'm leaving the conference. I'm getting out of here.
Closing thoughts, though, and I'll let you guys get your other guests on. I appreciate you guys having me on. My closing thoughts to me are this. I honestly need to see roster movement or personnel movement from the front office at this point. I'm a generally patient person. I think I've expressed that quite often, and giving credit where it's due. But it's not working right now in the fact that, you know, I had posted something on Twitter I got shit for when I said, okay, we're trading Andrew Gutman and we're getting some guy from League 2 and Tristan Mumba, and people were like, oh, that's not what's happening. There are more moves in place and not a single thing has happened yet. I've seen no movement from the front office. I've seen barely a rumor. The Diego Rossi rumor is apparently false, and I don't know. We need players in. We need a center back, and we need a central midfielder. I think offensively we're fine. I think that it all starts from the back, though. So.
Yeah, I mean, let me just tell you, front office, if you've upset Tim Herb, you've fucked up. I'm just saying. He's the most patient man I know. So God, come on, get it together.
Yeah, I only lose my patience in traffic in Atlanta, and then
which is every day probably then.
Yeah, so it is.
Yeah.
Tim, always a pleasure. Great to see you after all this time. But yes, have a great rest of your night, and hopefully next time it's under better circumstances.
Yeah, we'll have you on again soon. Hopefully with better things. Yeah. Thank you very much for coming. Guys. Take care.
Yeah. So I mean, it's definitely in terms of a night of stars. Atlanta United didn't have them. There were no stars, and but we will be masochists and continue on with that. But yeah, no, it is. Yeah, this type of night hopefully can really. I think we can hopefully try to mitigate these type of nights as soon as possible by making the proper moves that need to happen. And I think we know what we're talking about here, in that the people in the front office and the people that are playing for the team that are not playing for the team, essentially, need to go. It's just straight up. They need to go. And yeah, we played a world beater tonight in Lionel Messi. But yeah, no, I mean, I think it just exacerbates the issue, is that we clearly ourselves are not world beaters. So, you know, if we're okay with being mediocre, then okay, yeah,
exactly.
Let's just keep the status quo.
Exactly.
Let's totally keep the status quo. But obviously, like, two players have changed their team. I think that's something that Atlanta United can do as well. And it's about the right recruitment and moves that are exciting for the team. Not a player from, you know, the Bosnian League or Turkish League in the second division.
Listen, AJ, Five Stripes don't stop. We're announcing a guy from the League 2 of Latvia next week, okay?
Yeah. And so, you know, it could be a player from Sokovia. Like, I don't care. Like, those players, they better be talented, because the issue is we're not bringing enough talent into the squad. And that's been the issue for 3-4 years now, pretty much since 2020. And yeah, like, that is a very long leash. There was a pretty short leash for Frank de Boer, I think, because of a lot of maybe fan sentiments, a lot of yeah, you know, I think they're seeing, you know, the team kind of losing some fans a little bit. Well, yeah, right now the team is losing a lot of fans, and like, this is unacceptable. This is continuing to happen, and yeah, like, even before, you know, a patient man like Tim Herb, like, he's getting upset. You know, there's a lot of fans, a lot of casual fans that have already dropped off.
Yeah, I mean, it's been dropping off since 2020. I mean, it's unfortunately, like Peter was saying, with Miami fans, they can be a little plastic, a little, you know, like, we're here for the wins, not for the gameplay. And Atlanta has a bit of that as well, unfortunately. And you know what? It's okay to a degree, because, like, you know, you vote for your dollar and everything like that. And so, yeah. So give me 1 second, AJ. I need to fix something. That's right. We're in a personal call. I'm gonna drop this. We're gonna hop into the other channel.
Okay. All right.
Remember? Yeah, we'll do that. So let's get over there. because we have a guest waiting for us. Here we are. Tyler, thank you very much for waiting. Yeah, we were doing a different thing tonight for Tim, and now we're back to what we're normally doing for you, and it's been and it's working. It's working. I just had to figure out what was working and how to do it.
What was happening tonight for Atlanta United, but
yeah.
Indeed, man. Tyler, let's have your thoughts. I mean, that shit show.
Man, I don't even know where to start. You know, I think you could have done a lot more in this match by just like taking a shot every once in a while. You know,
of liquor.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Salud, man. Yeah, we're right there with you. I mean,
I'm right here with you. No, you know, like I look back at that Caleb Wiley opportunity that he had where he didn't take it with his right foot, and you know that shows his youth, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just how he is. He's young. He's still getting into good spaces, whatever. But the entire match as a whole, it again defensively. It's defensively. You just looked not prepared. You came out. You let literally the best player in the world have an opening in the back to just run into space. And how that happens, I don't know. I don't know, like, how this match wasn't prepared for in terms of, like, you look at Messi and say, all right, whoever on the back line, you do not step away from Messi.
Maybe we cover the best player in the world. I don't know. Weird thought. Weird theory.
Yeah,
like,
dude,
I don't understand.
It's just wild to me. Like, at some point, like you just have to tell somebody, because you're looking at a 3-man back line, right? It's not like you're playing with two where you kind of have to take your moments to step up and everything else. Like when you're playing with a 3-man back line against that kind of offense, somebody has to stay back, period, like the whole time. So it felt unprepared. It felt like typical Atlanta.
Can you prepare for Messi though and Busquets?
No, but I mean, I think you could have done better than you did tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, not like
yeah, absolutely.
With Pineda the other day, like, how do you prepare for this kind of match, and the players as well? And nobody's got an answer for that. Nobody has had an answer for that for 15, 20 years. Like, so it's not like it's a surprise, but like, one thing that you don't do is let him run behind your back line. Like, that's freaking elementary, right? And so, I don't know, man. It's just, it's frustrating, but at the end of the day, like, you still have the League's Cup kind of in your hands in terms of, like, getting out of the group, right? Like, you can win against Cruz Azul at home, and then you can live to fight another day and see what happens, but
you think we beat Cruz Azul?
Bad. What's up?
Do you think we beat Cruz Azul?
Not if they played defense the way they did tonight, because Cruz Azul in the Miami match was actually, for the most of the match, the better team. They just couldn't finish.
Especially the first half, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
they put those chances away, we're in trouble, because they rush you early on, try and get some early goals on you, put pressure on, and then they taper off. They kind of slink back in the terms of the latter half of the game, and that's when you can really punish them. And Atlanta's kind of a second half team, so you'd hope that they could do that, but I saw no indication of that tonight. So I don't know if it's the Messi effect or we'll see.
And Cruz Azul's going to have something to prove at this point, right? They're going to be pissed. They're going to feel hard done by this one in Miami. So I don't know. You've got to just, if you're going to have a good home game during this, like, quote unquote season, then this is it. Like, this is a knockout game for you. You have to win this game. Whether it's you draw and go to penalties and you win penalties, it doesn't matter how you win, right? In this kind of like new format that they're doing, as long as you pull away the win, you're good. But you've got to come out with a win.
Do we have players who show up for big games?
Sure.
What's that?
Do we have players who will show up for big games?
I mean, I think Giacomakis to a degree. You know, I feel bad for Yako because in this one he he got a little unlucky. Again, that Caleb Wiley thing, it made him look kind of rough. But Caleb should have taken that shot in the first place, and it never should have been on Yako to even try to do anything with it. Almada's doing everything he can do. You know, everybody's going to scream, like, Almada, you've got to do better. You've got to be Messi out there. But, like, Almada was putting in some pretty good balls to people.
He was.
I've been a big defendant of Brooks Lennon, and Brooks Lennon had a rough one tonight.
He did.
He had a rough one. So, you know, if he can kind of get back in that form he was before this, like, 10-day break or whatever, then, you know, you're putting in, you know, balls into the box, and maybe Yako can get onto him or whatever, but it's just the midfield. There's nobody in the midfield at this point that I feel like is going to step up and do anything. And, you know, we all thought for sure Muyumba was going to get a run tonight, and, I mean, why would you? You know, when you're getting the crap beat out of you like that. So, save him for home, let him come out in front of the, you know, the bins and see what happens, but
Are any of the goals tonight?
No, I don't know that there's many besides Yako, Almada, maybe Miles. But again, they all can't do the thing by themselves.
Yeah. Do you think any of the goals tonight were on Brad?
I think Brad could have done better. It's so hard, man, because Brad is not the shot stopper that he was, by any means. He is not the guy that he was even 2 years ago. I actually think what you're gaining in Brad Guzan right now with his, you know, kind of keeping the back line in shape and all, is not netting you a positive over what you're losing with his shot-stopping ability. I think, at this point, the back line is such a cluster anyway that you're going to be better off with a guy like Diop, who you know is going to be a better shot stopper.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, now to answer your question specifically, I mean, yeah, I think maybe a better quote-unquote shot-stopping goalkeeper probably would have saved at least one of them, you know. I look at the first one that Robert Taylor took a shot on.
Yeah, that third one.
And it's like, you know, you probably could have done better on that one for sure. But, you know, you're always going to look at the defense. The defense lets you down for sure. But as a goalkeeper, your job is to stop shots at the end of the day. We can talk about, you know, being a guy that, you know, keeps the back line in check. You hold your box down, the whole 9 yards. Like, at the end of the day, your job is to keep the ball from going to the back of the net. And right now, Brad's just not doing that to the degree that he needs to do it.
Yeah. I think his statistics are actually put him at, like, one of the lowest in the league, too. So,
yeah,
it's not great.
Yeah.
Tyler, I know it's going to be hard, but if you could give us 3 stars for tonight for Atlanta United, that would be wonderful, and also your closing thoughts.
3 stars in terms of, like, just three
whatever you feel like giving that definition meaning.
You know, I'm going to point out a guy I think has gotten a lot of crap, and I thought he wasn't a game changer tonight, but I thought he came on and did something. At least he showed something, was Mosquera. I don't think he's like a, you know, this team right now, the issue that they've got right now is not Edwin Mosquera, but he gets a lot of crap. He got brought to a team that he probably didn't need to come to, admittedly. And every time he comes on the pitch, at least he gives you something in terms of energy. He's not the best on the ball. We know that. He's you know, his biggest thing is he's quick. He brings a little ball.
The pace merchant, yeah.
He is, yeah. You know, he gets on the ball better than Jurgen Damm ever did, for sure. I don't know, man, but just like the second half, I felt like he came on and he tried to do something. So I got to give him credit. He's out on the field against the GOAT, and he didn't seem to let it faze him. Other players, I felt like they almost seemed a little starstruck. You know, we mentioned it on our show earlier, but it just...
Yeah, I actually quoted you earlier tonight in the show because I heard what you were saying, that like when you were at the training ground, you heard some people, the way they kind of described going up against Messi was a little starstruck. It was a little apprehensive. And that worried me significantly. And it very much came clear through this game that this team gave him way more respect, unfortunately, that he deserves as a soccer player. Like, he's amazing. He's the world's best. But, like, he would want you to play your best against him to show him that respect. He wouldn't want you to sit back and to be like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to step to him. I don't want to challenge him because if I do, he's going to burn me or something. Like, no. He wants you to come at him because that way I don't know. I'm kind of like projecting into his mind, but in my mind, I would be like, I would respect players who want to challenge me if I am the best in the world. Yeah. That would make me be like, okay, good for you. Great. Yeah, I beat you, but like, at least you tried. Instead of like, keeping your space back and then, letting you do whatever the heck you want. So,
yeah.
And that goes for Busquets as well. So
it goes to that point too, though. Like, nobody fouled Lionel Messi tonight. You should foul Messi by accident. Just by like,
I just want to run on the field myself as a fan and foul him.
Right? You just go in there and like lay one out on him, But
I mean, it's just a badge of honor to be able to actually do that. And yeah, Sosa, they were chasing shadows all night. They weren't getting close enough. We weren't pressing as a team at all, and we didn't really even sit back well enough to even like park the bus well enough to prevent chances either. The game plan is really perplexing, really honestly. Like you talking to Gonzalo Pineda and him kind of more or less conceding that there really isn't a way to stop Messi, but I think we pretty much saw it. I mean, is that the best what Pineda could think of to stop Pineda?
Stop Messi.
Yeah, because
All right, stop Messi. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've got a guy that obviously, like, we know Pineda's game plan, right? He's going to try to push high, keep possession, and then play through and around the midfield, mostly around at this point. And I think you tried to do that tonight, and it started off for like the first 5 minutes, and it was kind of back and forth, whatever. But you have a defensive midfielder in Busquets who can literally break 3 lines with one pass. I mean, like on a wing. And he did. Yeah, over and over again. So if you're going to do that, you can't let your back line press that high and get so out of shape. And that's what happened with, the Messi goal. Like, I think it was the first one. But everybody ends up so out of shape. And then he's got space to run. And it's like, dude, God, like, how do you do that? How do you let that guy have that much space, man? It's just frustrating. So if they see him again in Leagues Cup, and then obviously we're going to see him at the Benz no matter what in September, I hope that, and I'm going to ask when I'm at the training ground, like before that match at least, like, what do you do differently than what you did now? Because the player that you came out with now was not good enough. It wasn't even kind of good enough.
Yeah, there's that. And then plus, it's, you saw some adjustments in the second half. You saw Almada sit a little tighter to Busquets a little bit. And that can prevent, that easy outlet to get the ball to Messi, even though he just draws that ball to him no matter where he is on the pitch. And that's just what Messi can do. That's the brilliance of him. But yeah, it is ultimately, our game plan, our play, our performance, everything lackluster, poor, just absolutely embarrassing, actually, because a lot of fans, I mean, I think we lost some fans tonight. Like, no joke, literally, I think some fans hopped over to Inter Miami and became Messi fans. I mean, it's just, can you blame them?
No.
I mean, like, you had the whole world watching, right? Like, that's the thing. This was your opportunity to show, like, we know that we're not 2018 Atlanta United anymore. Like, we get that. However, you needed a better showing tonight. Like, a couple of goals. I mean, then Almada misses the penalty, which we haven't talked about. And that's... Yeah, and I'll be the first to say, like, Almada's not a good PK taker. He's a great free kick taker. He's not a penalty taker. Unfortunately, by that point, Yako is not on the pitch anymore.
We have literally no one.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to give it to Barry. Like honestly, I think like at that point, you give it to somebody with experience. At that point, like Ozzy, give it to Ozzy. You know. We watched them take penalties at the training ground the other day, and they made sure, because the season ticket holders were there as well, and they told them to put the phones away and all that kind of stuff. But you've got some pretty good penalty kick takers on this team. Giacomakis, when he hit his penalty during like the mock-up, penalty shootout they did, dude, I've never ever seen a soccer ball kicked as hard as that dude did. Like, he drilled it, and it was like there's nothing a goalkeeper can do in that situation.
Was it top 90? Where'd he go?
Yeah, I mean, almost top 90, far right, So he just hits it hard, I mean, that's how he is. That being said, he wasn't on the pitch. So the next reasonable guy is Almada, but he's so predictable, I think, with his penalties.
I mean, that was just a terrible penalty. He shot it right at the goal.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's not like it's a terribly taken penalty in that it's not on goal, but he's telegraphing it, and it's easily readable, and that's the issue and he's not going far enough in a corner, like finessing it wise, to actually do anything that can get past the keeper. So, but yeah, I'm interested in who might be the second best, penalty taker beyond Almada that you saw at training.
So the only one that was blocked was Amar Sejdic, and so everybody hit the goal. I mean, they were on target, right? But the only one that was blocked was Sejdic, and his wasn't bad. I'm gonna give him credit where it's due. Miguel Berry's penalty was pretty spot on, actually. Not gonna lie.
He's a striker. He should be able to at least, take penalties, right?
100%. So, but no, to answer the question, second best, I would probably give it to that I saw, because I was doing the Nick Firmino interview for like the first two. I would actually, God, I hate to say this because I just, everything else he does has not been great lately, but
that's
Santiago Sosa.
I could see
Santiago Sosa.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, because he's got ball skill. His problem has always been marking and his lack of pace.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can see it. Yeah, like on the ball ability. That's why. Okay, yeah, he and Muyamba, if they play together, that's probably on paper our best midfields. On paper, anyway. But we'll find out, obviously. But yeah, it's definitely right now that midfield is leaky. Josetu literally was walking back while Messi scored the first goal.
Amar wouldn't have walked back. Just saying, Tyler. Just saying.
I mean, look, I hit on my predictions on the lotto. I want Sejdic over Josetu all day. All day. I'll be the first to say it. I want that. At the end of the day, though, this midfield is like a U12 midfield. There's nobody on it that just stands out, unfortunately. I mean, obviously, we're not talking about like the attacking midfield and Almada, but like,
of course.
Your sixes and eights, like, they're just not good enough.
Yeah,
they're just not.
It's just cheese.
You need it. Yeah. You need it. If Atlanta is anything of a case study for everyone to learn from, it's that you cannot skimp in your midfield like that. Yep. It just will not work then. All right, Tyler, I really appreciate you coming on. We got to move on. I am hoping next time you come on, it's a better result. I feel like I'm saying that more often now, and it's really sad. Every time I have a guest on, I'm like, maybe next time it'll be a win.
I like some sage. Next time I come on, we'll be talking about a win next time.
Please do, some Palo Santo, whatever the good juju can bring. Yes, absolutely.
We appreciate it, buddy.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Tyler.
Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
All right, and next we have Niall coming on for a little bit to tell us his perspectives on the game. And this is going to be a bit of a longer episode tonight, guys. Strap in. And I'm going to have to use the bathroom after this because it's been a long night. And, yeah.
We're a lot of drinking afterward because...
We're going to be strapping in tonight.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Whoa. What are we talking about?
Strapping in when it comes to the longevity of this video tonight. It's a historic game, guys. It's a historic game. a lot of things happened tonight. It's been kind of crazy.
Yeah.
You'll forgive
and here we
us.
are with Barcelona fan Niall Baruki. So
He's here.
in that sense, man, Messi, obviously, one of your favorite teams. Messi, probably one of your favorite players. What you think of him tonight
I'll be right
against
back,
LA
guys.
United?
Hold it down for me. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I mean, it's still kind of hard to believe that he's in MLS. I mean, the way he just played today, even though defensively we were not great. I think like Messi was always gonna have an impact on the game today. I mean, it's very hard for any team to kind of just completely isolate him from the match, but the way that Atlanta kind of just let him play into the hands of like Messi in terms of not marking Busquets enough, because I know Gonzalo Pineda, that was one of the things that he spoke about in terms of, in order to being able to deal with Messi, we need to be able to first make sure that Busquets does not have the ball, but Atlanta was not able to do that. You saw it with the first goal where Busquets just made a brilliant pass to Messi, and then the story from there. So I would say it was definitely a frustrating night. Messi kind of stole the show and probably in a way that was more embarrassing than hoped.
Yeah, no, he carved up our midfield. Definitely carved up our defense as well. And yeah, I mean, really, not many players on the team probably had something to write home about this match. Because there wasn't really like even there's a strong tackle on Messi or something like, that player really showed out against him, did his job. I mean, it was all over the pitch. Messi did exactly what we knew he could do, but somehow we looked even worse in that. But because you would expect some of the more senior players to be able to I think at least kind of save their face a little bit. But yeah, Juanjo Purata taken off at halftime. That's not a good look. He was definitely AWOL for the first goal with the trying to catch him offside as well. I mean, Messi's goals. I mean, which one? I guess you being a Messi fan was most impressive.
Ooh. I feel like the second one that he scored, the one where Joseph, I think, made a dummy, and the way for him to just kind of be able to just find space and just put the ball in the back of the net like that. Great defending was not great, but either way, it was a brilliant play from Miami, and it all started with the whole setup by Taylor, who also had a heck of a night. So
yeah, two players that basically had shouts for man of the match, and Joseph Martinez didn't have a bad match either. Neither did Sergio Busquets, of course. I mean, it's just Robert Taylor. I assume you watched the match against Cruz Azul, where he basically scored a really great goal from that left side, and then he showed more of that tonight. Where, I mean, if any of the team, in terms of coaches, somebody watched that game, maybe they would have at least noted that, hey, Taylor's got a really strong shooting foot, so something to keep an eye on.
One of them shooting feet.
Like one of them shooting feet, and so I mean, his ball striking is really good. Like that Taylor, I mean, like it's almost annoying because on Atlanta United's end, I don't know what type of players we're bringing in. Like the forwards that we bring. I mean, beyond Yorgos Yakimakis, there's not really ball striking in our forwards. I mean, that's probably the thing that we're lacking. Derek Etienne, not really a strong shooting foot. You had Luis Araújo. I mean, strong shooting foot in the sense that he hit it with power into the 100th row, but yes, nonetheless.
There's the rub.
And it's just like that's an issue. I mean, and Tyler Wolf. I think there's a goal scorer in there, but there's not really a strong ball striking ability with Tyler Wolf either. I think he finds himself in good spaces and can be clinical, but he wasn't really there tonight to be able to. He did have the ball in the back of the net, but he was offside, of course, where Yorgos Yakimakis was. But yeah, I know because Mike's gonna ask you, so give us your 3 stars.
Oh man, this is really hard on a night like this. With like
you're earning your paycheck tonight, Niall.
I will say Almada had a decent. Well, I wouldn't say. Well, let me put this. He was putting in effort, is what I'll say.
So he's your number one.
Yeah, he's my number one for me. He was, I think, the one player that I thought was bringing the most life to the team today, even though it was really hard. He made some great passes, but unfortunately, they were not, the players that received the passes were not able to make the most out of them. I would also say that maybe I'll say I know that like the defense was really bad today, but I will say that I thought that there were some decent moments from Miles today. I don't know, like in terms of like I don't know, just Miles I thought had it.
You're right. I mean, there was a good shout that he was actually decent on defense. He just wasn't helped out by the rest of his defenders. So
yeah, that's what I'll say, because there were times where the ball could have gotten to Messi, but Miles was able to sort of kind of intercept it. And for the 3rd star, I'll say that I get that Wolf wasn't that productive today, but I did like the energy that he brought. So he's my 3rd star, I guess.
All right. So do you have any final thoughts on this match?
Really bad match. I mean, just lackluster. It was just a poor performance all around. Just kind of the lack of ideas was really what I think stood out to me, and Saturday there just has to be a better performance against Cruz Azul. It's not going to be easy, but you're at home, and you have to be able to get a result. I think what the most frustrating thing is for me is this team has talent, but at the end of the day, you can't keep getting yourselves into positions where you shoot yourselves in the foot, or where you cannot be where you're not able to sort of be defensively strong.
Yep. No, we obviously left ourselves wide open, susceptible to every sort of Messi attack, and we didn't have an antidote or an answer. He just waltzed right into our bedroom and did some nasty things to us. Anyway, all right, man.
All right,
Well,
if that
Niall,
doesn't
thank you
win
so
your,
much.
if you're watching, you haven't subscribed yet, that should win it for you. That should be the reason.
Exactly.
Right there, right there.
He just said the absolute nastiest things to us, right? Anyway, all right, thank you, Niall.
All right, we're gonna. All right, I know we typically upload to like YouTube. We might have to upload to Pornhub after.
Oh Jesus, no, you can't say those things, man. Anyway,
All right, see you
all
guys.
right, now have a good
Thanks,
night,
Niall.
bud. Oh, jeez, yeah. Yeah, it's that type of night. I'm a little delirious. It's late, and but
We gotta
you know,
persevere.
we do this for you guys. Yeah,
Gotta
but
persevere.
before we do any more guests, let's get into the chat, see what people have to say.
Yeah, so let's see. We got, I'm going to read a couple of these. SB Mobiles says, hashtag Boca out, hashtag Pineda out. Disc B says, embarrassing, but at least it was fun to watch Messi and Joseph chemistry. Bryant Lee says, LOL, this was embarrassing. We played right into their hands. I'm just dumbfounded that we looked like noobs out there. Using some gamer talk, I understand. Strong says, yup. For the culture says, Timmy.
2 zeros?
Yeah, sorry, what?
Did it have 2 zeros for noobs?
It didn't. No, it didn't. So it's not as much of the gamer elite speak as we would have hoped.
Yeah.
But that's okay. They'll come back, I'm sure, and edit it and make it better next time. It's okay, guys. Let's just all forgive and forget, Strong says. NI5HUA says, I'm sorry, but it's time for Arthur Blank to sell the club. Get one of the Saudi owners or something to buy this club, and we'll see rapid progress. But Carlos Bocanegra is the main one that needs to leave. Interesting. We're not going to dwell on that for a second. We will come back to all these comments, but I just got to get through them. Strong says, I think it's easier to say who can stay than mention everyone that needs to leave. Probably. Alexander Whitten says, paid to win. Yes. I don't know if exactly what you're talking about, but Miami is probably a pay-to-win type team. I could see that. Unfortunately, I feel like they shouldn't be. I feel like they're going to be humbled eventually, but right now...
Oh, yeah. They will be humbled by a good team.
Exactly.
We're not a good team.
Yeah, exactly. So he also says, NI5HUA says, since 2019, it's just gone downhill for Atlanta United. It's new players every year, no consistency, no time to development. It's ridiculous. This project, or whatever this was supposed to be, what it was supposed to be is not attractive anymore. I don't recognize the team. It's sad. For the culture, also says, Rosie gotta go. Sell him. Anywhere. Please, get him out. I injected that last part. But I'm sure Grego would be very appreciative. Ingest 101 says, that second goal was embarrassing. Strong says, he was commenting on what For the Culture Soccer says. Yes, he is the problem. The rest is fine. I don't know if the rest is fine. Let's see. What else do we got here? Brian Lee says, should have to stay with our 3-5-2-1. CJ says, Rosie. That's all he says. I'll leave everyone to think about what that means. STUC 211 says, time to clean house. He also says, an utter terrible performance from our team. Thank God for beer. Amen, buddy. Amen. He also says, Messi didn't even get fouled once. Oh my God. I was like, why aren't we at least like tackling this man? We need to do something. Ingest says, how do we change the culture of our club? Huge issues to fix. Naiman Avalos says, I think we need a new coach, a coach that can bring a different, more attacking play style, like how we used to play. Jack Dickens says, kind of sad. I remember Lanny used to play with freedom, but we're gritty at the same time. But Miami looks like what ATL wanted to do going forward. Interesting. Ingest also says, the effort issue is 100% on the coach. Bryant Lee says, yeah, I agree. Diop should start. Interesting. Jack Dickens also says, Guzan is a legend, but I think he's finished in terms of being a starting goalkeeper. Pray for Atlanta United. I'm just going to speed run these before they get to the rest of them so we get on to Grego because he's been waiting very patiently. There's just a bunch of these comments tonight. Embarrassing game, but on to the next one. Hope Mr. Blank was watching this lovely performance. I'm sure heads will roll now. Why did we get rid of Gutman and Ibarra? Question mark. Blame Boca. I was watching the Braves, but soon as I saw Messi score 2 goals, I knew tonight was going to be a long night. That's what playing on turf does to muscle memory. Any updates on the Rossi transfer rumor? I believe it's pretty much dead in the water unless something different happens. So glad to see you guys on a Tuesday. Thank you so much, Fern. And Ismael Rivera says, shambles. I think you're overestimating the quality of MLS versus Messi. Nobody wanted to faceplant trying to put a tackle on him whatsoever. All right, so that is the chat so far. Please continue to give us your comments. Tell us about this match because, oh my goodness, was there a lot to talk about. And to talk about it, we have a damn right professional. He goes by Grego. He's from For the Culture FC. And he's here tonight to tell us his thoughts and his expert analysis of what transpired tonight.
Oh, you sure you want that?
I want to give the raw, the worst, give us the Dutch uncle right in our face, everything clear as day.
We
Dutch
got
uncle
absolutely sunned tonight, and of course I've been listening to the show so far, and yeah, like I think the overwhelming sentiment, at least for me, is that we paid both Messi and Busquets way too much respect. We said, "Oh yes, please, so like have this midfield, have it. It's all yours." And yeah, they said, "Hey, we got this." And I kind of like Tim said, like I feel like I've been very patient here, but I feel like time, like the way that we lost tonight, definitely was a quite. It made you question effort, and it made you question, just how much
everything
are they
really
listening to Pineda. And I think time is he's on the clock now. He's definitely on the clock.
Yeah,
he's not only on the clock. He's not getting any draft picks. He's on a hot seat, and his seat is it's scalding. And he's not the only one. That's for sure. That's for damn sure. But because he's the whole team pretty much. Would you say? This is probably a leading question.
Mm-hmm.
They embarrassed Atlanta tonight.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that again, like it's one of those cases where once you got popped in the mouth, like it's all about like how you get up once you get punched in the mouth, and we just chose like, you know what, we're not getting up, and the effort reflected that, especially like towards the end of the first half. Like we checked out pretty much after that second goal. I think that after that it was pretty much done.
Yeah, like I've been saying since day one of this season, we're an emotional team. We're a confidence-based team. You get fucking punched. You get knocked down. This team does not know how to rally. Doesn't know how to get back on their feet. They'll
It's
like
very
fight.
rare when we do.
They'll fight. They'll come back and then they'll do something. But like for the most part, it's just you can tell players are just kind of checked out, like you said. They just they stop playing. The thing is, the big players that we have, they seem to step up. They seem to start moving and getting a little bit crazier when the game goes on a little bit further because they feel like they have to put the game on their backs, specifically Thiago Almada. But like these other players, midfield specifically, like they're just like, what am I going to do?
I'm not sure about Almada because I feel like in a lot of cases, especially because it's like the first time you've seen Almada versus Messi, so this is basically their first time going head to head as compared to being teammates with Argentina. And I feel like again, I'm a big believer in attitude reflects leadership, and I feel like in this case, this was an opportunity for Almada to basically stake his claim and say, "Hey, I'm coming. I know I'm not there with you yet, but I'm coming." And I feel like again, he's part of that midfield too, and I didn't see him trying to make too many tackles on Messi either. Like again, like y'all said, like no tackles, no fouls on Messi whatsoever. And I feel like y'all said, like if I feel like Messi would have respected the effort. Say, hey, I know that we're teammates and everything, but today we're opponents, so go ahead and come at me.
Yeah.
And Armada did do that. Nobody did, so it's not just him.
They were all scared. They were shaking their booties. I mean, how else can you appreciate it? Like, you can say, like, you know, oh, they tried or something like that, but at the end of the day, I don't think they did. I think they were way more apprehensive and way more, I mean, maybe afraid isn't the right word, I don't think. I think they were just more, like, nervous.
I think it is.
Well, the thing is, I think as a professional soccer player, it's not so much fear as it is, like apprehension of, like, I'm, like, yeah, I can see how you can, like, spin it to be, like, fear. Like, I feel like I'm going to make the wrong decision. But I feel like they're more so, like, I want to make the right decision and...
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I got you. Yeah, no, well, there's a couple different spins that you can make there. You could say that you're trying to, because you know all these eyes are on you, so you're trying to make an impression of sorts. So it's like, hey, maybe I might make the right pass, the right tackle, and you know somebody over in Europe be like, hey, I like how he slid that tackle. Let me go ahead and make a bid for him. And of course that didn't happen. Or it's a case of where, again, you're paying too much respect to Messi, and you're like, okay, like I don't want to be the reason why Messi doesn't play at like all the stadiums this summer. So again, like you just have to just play, and whatever comes will come. And again, I'm sure that Messi be like, hey, I appreciate how hard you went during the game today, and you know, let's get back at it next time, and then you just move on. But
of course, he's a gamesman. Of course he would, right? Of course he would.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, it obviously was that. I think it was that. There's, you know, I think maybe what we're looking for is maybe paralyzed by indecision, maybe, because there is
happens, yeah.
like nervous. Nervous is not necessarily fear.
Yeah.
I feel like nervous is a good way to accompany it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of these players basically, like we mentioned on the preview, sorry to cut you off, Grego, but yeah, but it's basically, Santiago Sosa, you know, obviously Argentine player, young guy, you know, he's not going to really, you know, put a shoulder in, let Messi know that he's there, you know, and let him know that, hey, this is my midfield. You're going to have to go through me. Instead, he just kind of let him walk through the door, right? And, you know, it's a bit of that. You have Almada as well, obviously, you know, would be idolizing Lionel Messi as well. But I think I clamored for a different midfield for this match, whether he was match fit or not. Ozzy Alonso. Do you think the selection was an issue tonight?
Actually, of course, before the game, of course, I'm looking at the 11, and I'm like, this is like easily the most healthy 11 that we've had probably since before Gazan got hurt against New York. And I think that if this is what we have, of course, granted, we still need to make some moves. Obviously, Muyumba hasn't debuted yet. I don't blame him for not putting him in this game. But at the same time, like, I don't know, like, how much different this, like, you could have made this 11. I feel like if anything, like, you probably would have tried to put in Mayama from the beginning and maybe see what happens there, but I understand why you wouldn't. And other than that, I mean, again, like I said in the chat, like, Rosie got to go. I mean, he like, what is his job? Does he want to be an attacker in the midfield, or does he want to hold back, or like what is his job? Because he's not defending, and he's not really contributing that much to the attack. So it's like he's just there, and I feel like he doesn't complement Sosa in a good way to where Sosa can be effective as well. So yeah, like I don't know, like who. I do think that. So was it like a 3-6-1, or was it like a 3? Because it didn't feel like a 3-5-2.
No, I think it was a little bit more of a 3-5-2. So Tyler Wolf and
Yeah.
Yorgos Giacomakis played up top together.
Yeah.
Almada in the middle. You had the wing backs with Lennon and Wiley, and then the 3-man back line. So
I'm not
the
sure that.
2-man midfield was that.
Yeah, I'm not sure Wolf fit in with the way that they were trying to use him. I feel like something was off there, and that definitely contributes to just joining us in the attack as well.
If he scored that goal and it wasn't offside, then I don't know.
Oh yeah, like I mean, honestly, if that had went through,
Yeah, if you crash the net, it works. Then hey,
It could have been a way different game. Yeah.
Yeah, this an entirely different game. Like you had that rapid fire response to all this attention and everything. And again, that goes back to what I was saying. Like you want to make an impression. Like, hey, boom, you have a goal within the first 5 minutes. Yeah, that's going to be something. And especially the type of goal that Wolf would have had.
Yeah.
But I did want to say something a little while ago, just like. Because like you said something about Sosa also being Argentina. I was like, the last thing he wants to do is like make a big tackle on Messi, and then you got to hear about it back home.
Yeah.
And then next, you're like,
his phone's blowing up. Like, what did you
he's
do?
the most hated man in Argentina. And I'm like, dog, like I'm trying to play a game here. Like, I mean, just death threats, like you ain't shit, all types of bad.
Listen, Santi, this is your abuela calling. You ain't welcome home anymore. You better stay in the States.
Like, no, like you are not coming back here whatsoever. But yeah, like those are type of things. Like again, like it goes back to like what type of game are you trying to play and what type of what's going through your head. Because yeah, like you have all these emotions and trying to play your game, make a statement, hopefully catch some eyes. And in the meantime, you end up just doing nothing because you don't know what to do.
Yeah, we were talking earlier.
That's worse. I feel like that's worse. You make yourself a name by doing well, not by being meek and by allowing a player to basically just run past you and do exactly what he wanted to do. And yeah, I think that is not going to get you to Europe. That is not going to get you the big paycheck. Yeah. That is not going to win you a lot of fans. So, yeah, a lot of the players made the wrong decision tonight. A lot of the coaching staff didn't prepare the team to do the right things tonight either.
Yeah,
and a lot of the front office didn't bring the right people in to do that.
I mean, we've been digging this hole for a while now, and as much as I like Pineda, and I feel like he could be that guy. Again, like you do reach a point where if the guys aren't listening to you and whatever tactics that you're trying to use aren't working, then yeah, I don't see how much longer this goes. And of course, it's a real tangled situation because obviously, Boca has been on the hot seat for who knows how long now, and so like I don't think there's going to be a good timing here because I feel like if you drop one, it makes no sense to just leave Boca there. It's like you just got to go ahead and drop them both and just give them the timing of where we are in the season. It's like, can you get both jobs filled before August 2nd? I doubt it. So it might be a case of where you just have a stay of execution until the end of the season, regardless of what happens. Regardless of what happens, playoff wise, I would say that.
I have a theory. I'm known for having like random wild theories at the end of these streams.
Okay.
Here we are, right? What if the reason why we've been relatively silent in this transfer window is because Garth has detected that he pretty much wants to let go of Carlos. Carlos, because obviously Carlos is the one that's like going to be scouting, going to bring in, he's in charge of that whole thing. So it's like, but he's like thinking, okay, well, if I let him run these next one or two transfer windows, we're going to be in the same fucking spot where we've been in. So I've detected this, and I've determined that we just, like, we have to we have to not do this transfer window essentially, in order to prevent Carlos from making more bad decisions, and then we'll get rid of him, and then all of a sudden we have a new guy coming in, and then it's the guy that Garth approves of, and it's a new era when it comes to that. What do you guys think of that?
It's not as crazy as you think. I definitely think that you're in a tough situation with Boca, because I feel like obviously just with all the moves that have happened even before Garth got here, going back to 2020, it's pretty much been like hit or miss, and most of them have been misses. And if he's still in charge right now, it's like, do you trust him to have one, like at least one more hit, basically? And if you don't, then it's almost like, do we just keep it a holding pattern until the end of the season, or again, like, do you at least try to do something to where, hey, like, we might be able to make it through a game or two in the playoffs, and we go from there. And
fourth place. He wants fourth place.
Again, like, we're finally at a point now where we're actually healthy, and that's why, like, when I posted on Twitter, I'm like, or X, as we should say now.
I'm gonna dead name Twitter from now on. I'm just gonna say Twitter.
Yeah, it's the stupidest shit. But
you X'd on X. Yeah,
I re-X'd something earlier today.
This is I call it a skeet. That's what I call it.
But, exactly. You skeeted on X.
Yes, but
it's terrible.
Again, I'm saying you're just making more arguments for why we need to upload this to Pornhub now, AJ. I'm just saying.
Oh, no.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But no, I think that
you can't say those words, Michael. Stop saying those words on your.
Then you stop triggering it.
Oh man, but I think that Garth, I think he definitely sees it, but I will also say this, because from what we saw in Seattle, they definitely got to a point where they weren't so much relying on big name signings. Of course, you obviously did have very quality DPs up there, but as far as like just going like for big names, that wasn't their, like they did it at the very beginning. They got away from that, and they started actually utilizing their youth. And I do think that, like I think I said, like last time I was on, like Wolf, Caleb, and I'm not going to blank, but giving those guys those chance to at least sink or swim. Now I will say that
Johnny
Boy,
probably. Yeah.
I will say that moment from Caleb, that's going to be a real big teaching moment, because that shot was right there, and there was no reason for him to pass. I mean,
at the Charlotte game, he nails that.
Yeah, and like he is actually one of my stars for tonight, because I do feel like he did keep trying.
So Grego did his homework. He knows ahead of time.
Oh, yeah.
He did keep trying, but yeah, that's definitely one that when they get in Marietta tomorrow and they start reviewing this film, they're gonna be like, yeah, don't do that again.
Yeah, basically shoot the Thierry Henry shot and basically hit that bottom right corner. And but I mean, and to be fair, it's like the ball and the touch that he had was immense. It was actually really good.
Yeah,
he opened it up for himself, and then he decided to pass. Which, to be fair, it wasn't the worst pass. Giacomakis probably could have hit it one time, but he decided to take a touch.
Yeah. Like he wasn't ready.
I don't think Jaco thought that it was coming to him.
Yeah,
because it's like, why would it?
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
He was open. Like, yeah, exactly. Wiley should have taken the shot. Exactly. But yeah, okay. Give us your two other ones.
Yeah. So Wiley.
I'll give you Tiago. I'll give you some help.
Honestly, I don't want to use Zapata, because I feel like, again, like he's probably the biggest example of deferring too much to Messi, and again, that's probably a learning opportunity for him as well.
I mean, maybe. I don't know so much so. I mean, yeah, he didn't get any kind of tackles on him, but I don't think he's really someone who's going to be tasked with that as so much. as our defensive.
Well, I mean, if the goal for him is to go over to Europe at some point, you got to realize that you're going to run into guys that that you looked up to, and you can't shrink in the moment. You got to go ahead and take them head on, and go for it. And,
yeah, but like Almada's never been that guy, so I'm not going to expect him to been that guy against Messi either.
Yeah, like that's been that's. I was very curious about that matchup tonight, and hopefully, if he's still here by September, like he'll be a very different person on that flip on that return match in September.
Hopefully,
I kind of like what I saw from Barry. Kind of. I mean,
that one shot, man.
Yeah, I'm like, can we just get this more consistent? That's all I want. Just give me some more consistency, please.
And he won the penalty, so yeah, it's a good show. That
And aside from that, I'm gonna have to leave the third spot vacant because again, this game was hot dog water. It was awful.
Yeah, it's some. Oh my goodness, Frank Durst hot dog water coming here.
Yes, that's all I can give you because like I feel like again, time is ticking on Pineda and the game on Saturday. I think that.
So if you think we crash out of Leagues Cup, you think like Frank De Boer when we crash out of COVID Cup, you think he's gone then?
Depending on how bad the loss is, yeah. I think that it's definitely on the table.
A lot of people are saying they're going to get him to at least give him to end of season. But you're saying Leagues Cup is the barometer. Interesting.
I mean, it's one of those things where, like, again, like, because you got to go back to before the break when we lost to Orlando, of course, that being the alleged rival and everything, losing like this to Miami. And, Granted, obviously we don't play teams. We don't play Mexican teams that often, like that. So it's hard to really gauge like how we should play. But at the same time, again, like you're trying to basically stop the bleeding at this point. So you have to respond in a way to where it's like you calm some nerves a little bit. So like okay, like we might we'll get an extra game, an extra knockout game. We'll see how that goes, and we go from there. But I definitely think that if it's a bad loss, like probably at least 3-0, something like that. Yeah, it's gonna be some furniture moving.
Yeah, completely agree. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I completely agree. It's maybe. I don't know. I like Pineda. I agree with you. Like I like him. He's a
real
good coach. I feel he's a good coach.
Exactly.
I feel like he has. Like I would love to see like what he could do with like a really good team.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating part right now is that like people. I think people can tell at this point. It like our 11 can be really good, but beyond that we're real shaky. And like again, like we haven't had our full 11 in months. So
and Yako can never play a full 90.
Yeah, and I think that we really need to work on our squad and like maybe he gets a bit of a reprieve and maybe he gets to stay at least maybe he gets like the first half of next year. But again, it's all about like how your players are responding to you in the moment. And again, like you have these bad losses and then you get spanked by Messi and friends, and it doesn't look good. And this is your
debut to like really the international audience as Atlanta United as a brand, and you show up with a stinker like that.
Yeah, like you would never know that this was the same team that won MLS Cup 5 years ago. Granted, we're a totally different team at that point, but at the same time, like we're one of the teams that the league leans on as far as like games on TV, feature matches on Apple, and this is what you this is the team that you want to put forward, and we didn't put our best foot forward, and I think that's something that it's not going to sit too well with too many people. So it's just a matter of how we respond to that. And of course, it doesn't help that Darren and Miggy, they're about to be here tomorrow, so we're like, oh, what could have been? We got them, we had Tata and Joseph tonight. It's like all the memories, and then Nagby and Gress were reuniting in Columbus. I'm like, make it stop.
I know. And if Joseph scored tonight, I'm like, oh.
Yeah. There's a lot of pretty much like moments of "I told you so," probably from former coach or players or staff. And yeah, guys, there was talk of us being a super club. Like Alexi Lalas definitely was one of those pushing that agenda. And how far that has fallen, because the identity of this club, I'm not really even sure anymore. Like,
one thing,
it's in a transition period for sure. Yeah.
One thing I've always been quick to say, especially like on places like the Facebook fans group, like, because of course people got swept up by all the hysteria with those first couple of years, but people have to keep in mind that we've only been around. This is like what, seventh season. We're not too far in the game to where we can't still blow this.
Yeah,
and that's something to where I don't think people want to get to the point, because we've seen it on occasion where it's like the bins looks like it's like maybe like 3/4 full, maybe a little less than that. Like, I don't think we want to get to the point where like it looks like half full. And
even if half full is still more than basically every other MLS team, it's just as bad look.
Right. Yeah, and I think that that's something that needs to just stay in perspective, because I mean, like, Atlanta is a tricky beast when it comes to the its fan base.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of people here that are still technically learning the game, and it wouldn't be too much for them to be like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and get back to the Falcons and just soak in my misery with them. So again, it's really, really tricky. So we have to be really careful as far as like how we go about continuing this rebuild, so that people can stay engaged, hopeful, and motivated to see the team still improve.
Right, and I think you're making a great point here, is that yes, Atlanta is a transplant city, and so there's frankly not a ton of Falcon fans. There are a lot of Fairweather fans that will, at the drop of a dime, go back to either their club that they were following or to another club that is the one to jump on the boat. And
they'll go back to their yellow and black zigzag kids like Arsenal.
But I'll just ignore that because that's not even true. But the other teams, like so I mean, let's just be real here. It's like most of us are transplants, and so the teams that they were following in their home state, those NHL teams, NFL teams, NBA teams, they'll go back to following that more, and that's already happened. And I'm sure, like I mentioned earlier in the show, that there are people that have already jumped over to Inter Miami. There are a lot of Messi fans.
Yeah.
There's a bunch that jumped over to Nashville and Charlotte, and then now Miami. So.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
so it is not something foreign. It is not something unprecedented. And so Atlanta United, if they're listening, anybody that's listening, and I know for a fact they need to listen. There are fans that are being lost every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so there needs to be change right now. Otherwise, there are a lot of people that are going to drop off even more.
Yeah.
So
very much so.
It's no longer an audience that you have forcefully captive. These fans can now go somewhere else. Before, they didn't have anywhere else to go. So
they can go somewhere else.
You got Nashville, you got Charlotte, and now you have Miami. No one's ever going to Orlando, so that's fine. But like, you have those other markets, those other places, and you know what? They're starting to look pretty damn good. Charlotte, not so much, but like Nashville, Miami, they're
damn. It's one of those things where, again, like it's been 7 years now. We're not as new as we once were. So now that things are like just at the beginning stages of becoming settled. Like you really have to put in an effort to make sure that again fans are engaged, fans are hopeful and hyped to say, hey, I can't wait for the next game. I want to be there. I want to take my friends and everything. Like that used to be the thing. Now it's like you go on the Ticketmaster, you can go the day of and find a whole shitload of tickets. So it's like that's where things are at this point. And they have to make sure that the fan base is still largely positive about where things are going. And right now, I would say it's pretty hard to find a whole lot of fans that are like, hey, still got a shot, still can do something out of the season. Like, we might be able to do a little something, but I wouldn't say that we're making the conference finals or MLS Cup. So it's like, what are you doing to at least, look towards the future so that way come 2024, we're like, okay, we're closer to where we want to be, and the fans know what's going on, and they want to be part of it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there's a whole lot of caveats and a lot of moments of like, oh yeah, we have some good players, we have some talent on this team. There's things that we can be excited about to some degree, but in large part, if we love being mediocre, which unfortunately there's a history of that in Atlanta, there is a big contingency that can really pretty much sink into that again, and the lethargy that you see in Hawks fans and a lot of Falcons fans, and a contingent of Braves fans that I think probably the older generation. It's like as an Atlanta fan, like that is rife. It's gonna happen if the team does not do something about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But anyway, Grego, always great to have you, man. And yes, have a great rest of your night. And yes, hopefully we will see you again in better circumstances.
Better circumstances indeed.
I sure should hope so. But yeah, y'all take it easy, man.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. Have a good night.
All right, so we have come to the part of the episode where we will look at some unfortunate prospects for the two hosts that are currently on right now.
Yes.
And let me see if I can do this quickly, easily, or not at all. Let's find out. It's always a thing, right? Always a fun part for me, definitely.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Let's do this. And we're going to do a little bit of this here. So here we are. We have the wheel tonight. And it's me and AJ, as usual, probably. Hopefully, we could get more people on here so we could devy the terrible consequences of this wheel onto other people. Yeah. But right now it's just us, so here we go. What are we going to get? What are we going to see? Let's find out. My cat is meowing behind me. Hey, chill out. Chill out, bro. This is rigged. It's on me. It literally was on you, and it just kept going, and it just went to one little tiny little millimeter to get to you. So
it knew.
It knew. That's right. All right, so now we have the Red Ass game, which we owe you two. We did do the filming of today, so for probably this weekend, we will have 2 videos up of the results of the Red Ass Challenge for AJ and I this weekend. So be sure to tune in for that. Tonight, like I said, we have the Red Ass game. We have Soccer Skills Challenge, eating food you don't like, and dressing up for the stream. lastly, spicy challenge, which is pretty much everyone's favorite. So let's see what the spin is for me this week. It is not going to be spicy challenge, thank goodness. Oh, finally, it's soccer challenge. All right, I can show off my soccer abilities. Okay, finally. I feel like it's that's not been like a thing for a while.
Soccer on a soccer channel?
I know,
What?
right? Crazy. All right. Okay, so we're gonna be doing that. I'm gonna do a little soccer challenge for everybody. Maybe it's like a crossbar challenge, or it's gonna be like rainbow stuff, or who knows? It might be something crazy. It might be me embarrassing AJ in a soccer duel. We'll see. Might be fun. We'll see. I like how AJ's like, huh, interesting. I never thought that could ever happen. Interesting. So, yeah, it could happen. It could absolutely happen. So, we'll see.
We shall see. But, okay. Well, yeah, those forfeits and more will happen on the next episode. I feel like this is like Dragon Ball Z or something like that. But
tune in to the next exciting adventure. Yeah.
Where you wait on anything to happen until the next episode, which is pretty much what happened tonight for Atlanta United. But yeah, that's pretty accurate there. Shit. But anyway, if there's anybody that has stuck around till the end, we really appreciate you. If there's someone that commented some stuff, let's read that before we go, and we'll bid adieu after that.
All right, so one comment was M. Leeville 10 says, nobody wants to be Boatenged. Eugene Dunkley says, top 5 worst performance in Atlanta United history. Those are the last 2 comments. Boom. Okay. Scott McNinch, I'm gonna attempt to pronounce that as. Good show, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate everyone being here tonight.
Much love.
We get it. This is a tough night. We're commiserating just like you are. Like, this is a tough one. Like, hopefully this is, I mean, this year was a start. It was a start. It's a rebuild. We're in a rebuilding time period. And hopefully next year, like Garth was saying, 2 to 3 windows. Cat, stop meowing so much. Holy shit. Cat's going through something tonight. He's going through stuff like we're going through right now. Hey, relax.
Bring out the catnip.
So, like, we're going through something. We're going through a rebuild. Hopefully, in the next 1 to 2 windows, we will have a pretty comprehensive team that can compete. But it's not going to be until then. Because we're just not there. We're just not there, and that is quite obvious in our gameplay. So.
Yep. And, yeah, if we get to the playoffs, it's, not really seeing how far that rabbit hole goes. So, yeah, it's, this transfer window is very important. And, yeah, whether we do something or not, I guess will remain to be seen. But, all right, guys, I think that is it for Michael and I. And, we really appreciate you for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. We will see you in the next video. Adios. Good night.